Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy JD. I hope you've all had a great day. I hope you've all had a great end to your week. In this video today, we're going to be talking about quite the shocking story, if I'm going to be honest with you. As the title and thumbnail of this video suggests, it is all about women's, girls' safe spaces and the growing concern, the justifiable growing concern, that they're no longer women's, girls' safe spaces. In this episode, we have a 16-year-old Illinois swimmer who goes by the name of Abbigail Wheeler coming forward and telling her experience about witnessing a male getting changed in front of her. And because of that, her and her teammate made signs all about women's rights, telling people there are men in this area, which led the YMCA spy swimming team to remove her. They kicked her out allegedly because of those signs, because it's all hate speech. She can't voice her opinion on such things. What is going on? 16-year-old says she was kicked off swim team for protesting biological males in YMCA girls' locker room. Riley Gaines praises Abbigail Wheeler for being a megaphone for her female teammates. A 16-year-old Illinois swimmer is accused of hate speech for speaking out against biological males being allowed in the girls' locker room at a Springfield YMCA. Abbigail Wheeler says she was kicked off the YMCA spy swim team after she and a teammate put up signs reading women's rights, biological women only, and safe sport to alert other girls that biological women were in the area. I went to my coach and gladly told him that I was a part of this, and he said that it was probably not the best option for me to swim with the swim team that night, and the YMCA staff would follow up with my family, Wheeler said. The local YMCA chapter communications director, however, says Wheeler left the team on her own. There have been a variety of false statements around the same issues circulated by the same individuals since the past May. In this version of the story, the statements that the swimmer was removed from the Y and prevented from participating in the swim team is false. She left the swim team and the YMCA on her own. Abigail, however, stood by her story Tuesday morning, saying it is not true that she left on her own. The dust-up began when Wheeler noticed two biological males in the women's locker room last April, her father told podcast host Gianne Ives. According to existing claims, Wheeler and her family raised concerns about the presence of transgender athletes in the women's locker room, going to head coach Alex Tortora and the local branch's CEO to challenge the policy, but were told no action could be taken. Wow. And just remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is the situation that we were told for so long by liberals, progressive leftists wouldn't happen. They say now, oh, it doesn't happen. Interestingly, when it does happen and people speak out against it, it's all bigotry. It's like they can't really decide, right? But just imagine standing up for women's, girls' safe spaces, and this is the situation that occurs. The YMCA reject all requests. I didn't actually realize Illinois is quite the progressive place. It's all very inclusive, because if you deny somebody entry to a restroom based on their gender identity, it actually apparently goes against Illinois' Human Rights Act. That's what people are up against, which is why I assume, the YMCA couldn't make changes because of the state laws that are in place. So they go ahead, make the signs, she makes the signs and gets removed off the team because it's hate speech. Standing up for girls, women's safe spaces is now apparently hate speech. But we all knew this, right? Now, obviously, the YMCA are coming out and saying, oh no, she left on her own accord, because they're going to say that, okay? They're not going to come out and say, yes, we removed her. But even if she did, who put her in that scenario to leave the swim team, the YMCA? Because it certainly wasn't her, was it? I don't think she would have wished to leave the team. It was, let's say, the notion, if she did leave on her own accord, which again, I don't believe, but it was the notion, if she did leave on her own accord, of allowing men into women's, girls' safe spaces, their locker rooms, based on what? Individual truths, feelings, policies. And if women, girls within these places feel uncomfortable, it doesn't matter. They don't care about the feelings. They don't care about the safety concerns, because no. You must accept anyway, in general, that men are going to come into your locker rooms, changer rooms, bathrooms. You must accept that. They literally want, and this goes for women and men, they want people rejecting their own eyes, their own ears. So in the end, everything flies. We all stand for everything. So in the end, people stand for absolutely nothing. Now, I'm just going to play you a news clip. It's around 4 minutes long, but I'll try and condense it down as much as I can, of Abbigail Wheeler coming forward on Fox News, I believe, telling her experience, giving a little bit more context around the whole thing. And I think some of what she says will probably shock people. So I'm just going to allow the clip to speak for itself, and I'll see you all in a bit. Take a listen.
Abbigail Wheeler was a member of the YMCA in Springfield, Illinois. She was a part of the swim team, and after practice, she went to the girls' locker room to change. And that's where she claims she saw a naked man changing right in front of her. It was a man identifying as a woman, a trans man. And as any 16-year-old girl would, she felt uncomfortable. So she went to her swim coach, who said, there's nothing they can do about it. It's against the law in Illinois to discriminate against men in women's locker rooms now. Grown men can watch 16-year-old girls undress because Illinois is inclusive. So Abbigail took matters into her own hands. Abbigail and her friends posted signs in the locker room saying, women's rights and biological women only. So she went to her swim coach, who allegedly kicked her off the team and said she was promoting, quote, hate speech. Now, Fox News reached out to the Springfield Y. They deny it took place. But let's talk to that brave 16-year-old girl, Abbigail Wheeler, and get her side of the story. So, Abbigail, you saw a naked guy changing right in front of you at the Y in the locker room?
Yes, I did.
Was he saying he was a woman?
Yes, he was claiming to be a woman and changing in the women's locker room at the YMCA facility.
Was he ashamed at all that he was doing this in front of you?
Absolutely not.
And you report this?
Yes.
And they said they can't do anything? What exactly did they say?
So when I went to my coach and I explained my concerns to him, he told me that there was nothing they could do by Illinois state law, and that when I asked him what I could do and if they were going to fake or make any further, action towards this, they told me that they weren't going to, and that if I wasn't comfortable, that I could use the family locker rooms or I did not have to use the facilities.
Oh, so you have to change in a different locker room. The man in the women's locker room can stay and get naked. Is that what he said?
Yes.
Was this guy looking at you when you were changing or when he was changing?
The first time I was in the locker room while he was in there, he was just sitting in the locker room and watching.
Was he naked?
No, he was in a women's swimsuit.
Okay. So you have a guy, and he's physically a guy, right?
Yes.
In a woman's one piece, sitting on the bench, watching you get changed at a Y.
Yep.
And so you raised this as an issue. Go ahead.
After I expressed my concerns and was told I could use, the different locker rooms, the family changing, or not use the facilities, me and a friend, a teammate actually, decided to put informative signs up in the women's locker room to express our concerns and to let people really just know what was actually happening at the Y. And the next day at practice, again, I know you already said we were both told that they were considered hate speech and disrespectful, and that the Y would follow up with our families, and that it probably was not appropriate for us to practice that evening.
And now you're off the swim team.
Yep. Later, they sent emails to my family and phone calls stating that I am currently banned from the Y until I have a meeting with the staff, and we further explain into the punishments that they were going to give us.
Absolute insanity. I really cannot believe this is the state of society. I cannot believe we're all sat here today discussing this issue. It is absolutely mind-boggling. 16-year-old girls, teenage girls, were subjected to males getting changed in front of them. And it's not only teenage girls, is it? Because we all know about Riley Gaines and her story. The silver lining to it all is, I guess, more and more people are coming forward, especially in the younger generations. We're seeing more and more people voice their opinions, and Riley Gaines has actually praised this teenage girl for coming out and telling her story. I believe this might have been one of the first times she, exposed this whole thing that went down, but it's a great watch, and it just shows you, the solidarity that is going on, the togetherness that is going on around this issue that really, again, shouldn't be an issue. We should not be sat here discussing this because it shouldn't be going on in the very first place. Nonetheless, here is a clip of Riley Gaines praising Abbigail Wheeler and her teammate. Take a listen.
Abbigail, my advice to you is to know that you are in the majority. Even the people enforcing these rules, your coach, Alex, he has a young daughter. He can't truly believe that what happened to you is right and fair and just. And if he does, I think there's a separate conversation that needs to be had, given the fact that he has a daughter. These people, they don't actually believe that. They're willing to throw their moral compass entirely out of the window. And that's what we're seeing, not just in sports. We're seeing that in corporate America. We're seeing that in the media. We're seeing that. It's plaguing this country. Yeah. You are in the majority. And no, really, once you don't have to adhere to anyone, to the rules, the guidelines, any of that, it's liberating. It is liberating to say the truth. It feels like a weight is off your shoulders. And so I just want to echo what Caitlin said. I am so, so proud of you, Abigail, to be only 16 years old and being in the position that you're in, faced with what you were faced with, and standing up for yourself and ultimately standing up for others. You're a megaphone for your teammates. And so I couldn't be more proud of either of the Wheeler sisters.
Well, sometimes it can be very intimidating to stand up for a certain issue, but that is what all three of you are doing. You are unafraid. Abigail, Caitlin, Riley, thank you all so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, well done to all involved. They deserve congratulating. And I just want to say this, I don't know if you agree or disagree with me, but the more I think about it right now this second, if it wasn't for Riley Gaines coming out, telling her story, doing a lot of positive work, she's done a lot of good activism around this whole scenario, would have these girls come forward? Would other women have come forward? I don't know. And that just shows you how much of a positive impact one individual has had on so many girls, so many women. And, girls and women should not be scared of speaking out against these sort of experiences that happen. I know, as we keep on saying, they may face consequences, but I've said before, the consequences people will face for speaking out are really minuscule to the changes that people can make if they voice their opinions. There needs to be policies put in place telling people only biological women can go in this place, and that is it. Because how many more stories do we need for people to sit there and think, yeah, you know what, this needs to change now? How many more? But that is the end of the video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have enjoyed today. Leave your comments, leave your thoughts down below. I'm very interested to see how you guys feel about this. If you're new, hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. We are on the road to 50K. We are ever so close. It is amazing. Thank you to all the new people that have subscribed. Like this video, share this video, and until tomorrow, it has been your boy JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.